Hello, my name is Jimmy Love, and I'm completing this assignment for EDA 78700, the curriculum course taught by Dr. Levin. In this assignment, I am going to explain or go into detail and summarize my needs assessment process. That is the process of gathering information and working with my team to uncover the fundamental reasons for my problem. My problem. The Normandy School's collaborative reading achievement scores have been low for many years. Many NSC students do not read on grade level and fail to meet grade level benchmarks on iReady and other standardized assessments. Students' reading comprehension skills are critical across all um, subject matter, and reading skills affect learning outcomes in ELA and other content areas. A student's poor reading performance is attributable to several reasons. We discussed this in a needs assessment meeting. Um, their reading poor performance is due to prior reading levels, um, parental engagement, parental awareness, school attendance, student behavior, teacher preparation, students' reading practices at home, and we figured that there were multiple um, reasons that could essentially impede a student's reading development. iReady performance data indicates that most 8th grade students demonstrated proficiency with phonological awareness, with phonics, and high frequency words. However, those are the basic skill levels, whereas we want our students on a higher order thinking. And where that standard goes, the students struggled with higher order thinking tasks and did not make adequate gains on recent iReady assessments. Current iReady data indicates that 87% of the 8th grade students do not sufficiently comprehend ELA vocabulary. 89% do not comprehend grade level reading passages, and 86% do not adequately interpret literature on the grade level standards. According to the same data set, 90% do not understand informational text. So we have our work cut out for us where student literacy is regarded. And those were a lot of problems. And so we had to use the fishbone diagram, the fishbone process to break it down. And we continue to ask why to come up with a problem that we could solve in our what we could address in our time frame. Students poor reasons is to multiple reasons, and so we had to decide which area where we're going to address. Kind of the most bang for the proverbial buck here. Since understanding essential vocabulary will help students with other content standards and iReady assessments, implementing measures to improve vocabulary comprehension is a strategic place to begin. And so, therefore, we decided to pursue an intervention on students' vocabulary. The literature review. Several studies have demonstrated the relationship between vocabulary knowledge and reading comprehension performance. Um, that's Mogden et al. 2012. Normandy School Collaborative uses the iReady reading program for curriculum from Curriculum Associates, and that program is designed to increase students' literacy by challenging them to do individual lessons, complete individual assessments. And those levels, that data is used by the teacher to determine differentiation, individualized activities, individualized assignments. Ideally, iReady, in fact, the data suggests, literature suggests that iReady is an effective platform, an effective tool for increasing students' reading gains skills. However, already doesn't do itself, and so if students don't have the practice or the culture of logging on at school, at home, completing the lessons, and advancing through the platforms, well, it's not going to do what it's designed to do. And that's the phenomenon that we're seeing in our district. iReady is available, iReady is offered, iReady is, according to many scholars, effective. However, it's underused as a service in our district, which is part of our intervention to consider ways to increase daily practice with technology. Again, the literature review. In some, the literature shows some levels of consistent, reliable correlations between vocabulary knowledge and reading comprehension, and that vocabulary is a reliable predictor of reading ability. That was by Masrai, 2019. Uh, Absolutely, that's what many researchers posited, as I found during this process, in this project. There's a profound connection between vocabulary development and literacy. And so we believe, based on that, that we're right on track with our problem and our strategies to improve, to target vocabulary versus some of those other standards that students are very weak in. But we believe fundamentally vocabulary is a great place to start. In addition, we believe parental involvement is an issue in our district, and it's also um, a factor in students' motivation or lack thereof, students' accountability or lack thereof. And so the literature says parental involvement in education is a multidimensional concept that encompasses a wide variety of parental practices and behaviors in terms of students' education and learning processes. Schmidt and Garrels, 2021. We just believe that our issue, our district's literacy issue is so vast that we needed to figure out a basic way to respond. And so we were able to paint the picture of students' status, academic status, by looking at the data, but also finding out more about the demographics of the district. So the data sources that were used were census reporter. The census reporter just indicated basically that the Normandy School Collaborative is under the poverty line. Specifically, 38% of the Normandy School students' families live below the poverty line. We want to. That is that data is important because there are best practices for improving reading. Vocabulary development is one, and those best practices actually um, target low socioeconomic students because they don't always have family structures, family resources, a lifestyle that allows them to equitably benefit from a regular homework assignment, for example. And so we believe that we needed to innovate our approach to homework, our approach to vocabulary development, and our approach to engaging parents and making sure that they're actively aware and hopefully actively participating with students' vocabulary assignments and reading logs. The Department of Modesi provided statistics on students' math performance. Again, they were consistent with the iReady assessments, which suggest that students need much intervention where reading and reading comprehension is regarded. DESE rates Normandy as the floor. You have, well, no, actually as approaching. You have levels approaching, the floor, and actually compliant. And so our district is not there. In fact, of 180 possible points in the recent MSEP annual percentage APR report, MSEP 6 APR report, Normandy Schools Collaborative received 100 of 180 points for continuous improvement. And that's not so good. It suggests that we are making some trends, making some strides, but it's still among the lowest, if not the lowest, in the state of Missouri for public schools. Additional data that came from the MODESI website was the MAP performance data. The MAP performance data is critical because that is the test that's the big deal test. And so we want to prepare our students to excel or at least improve on the test. And since the vast majority of our district students are either in the below basic or the basic level, we can really only go up, but it won't be automatic. We can only go up with intentional strategies, and we believe that we will have one with our proposition or our proposal. The data just says that 235 students need more support in reading. That's really what that's the conclusion that has been drawn. But when we break it down, we broke the support down to the category of vocabulary. Again, understanding vocabulary words, understanding the basic structure of the English language, of course, how suffixes work, how prefixes work, but more explicit vocabulary that targets strands and standards from 8th grade reading and ELA expectations. Finally, our SMART goal: specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant, and time bound, of course. Well, our SMART goal: specific, assign daily vocabulary development and reading practice to the targeted students. Measurable, administer a pretest to assess students' knowledge of ELA and vocabulary terms. Check daily reading logs for completion and participation. Check vocabulary sheets for reading and participation, for completion and participation. And then administer a post-test to measure students' growth and to measure the efficacy of our intervention. Achievable. The teacher can consistently monitor the reading logs. The teacher can assign vocabulary enrichment activities. The teacher can administer pre and post assessment to determine the skills, the gains and or deficits in the intervention or in the student's progress. Relevant. Normandy School Collaborative's mission statement expresses commitment to interrupting cycles of oppression by investing in strategies that ensure all students achieve at high levels. And to do this, Normandy will increase students' literacy, which is directly related to what our problem is here with increasing students' vocabulary, to subsequently hopefully increase students' reading abilities. Research says improving vocabulary will improve reading. Time bound. This pilot project is limited to 3 weeks. 3 weeks is sufficient time to implement our vocabulary development strategies and to analyze the data to determine the efficacy of the intervention. Thank you for your time.